What is up, FBG fam? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and welcome back to episode 4 of the unofficial podcast for Genshin Impact, the world's #1 unofficial podcast for Genshin Impact. And this podcast is sponsored by GamerSupps. GG Subs. Make sure you click the link in the description down below. Gives you 10% off everything in the store. Go ahead and grab yourself the 3 brand new waifu shaker cups for a limited time only. So once they're gone, they're gone. You can't get them again. They're collectibles. You want to make sure you grab at least one of them, and also get yourself some subs so when you're farming, you can stay energized and be able to farm all day long for your Kokomi or future characters, whatever the case may be. And make sure you use my link Further Beyond Gaming to get that 10% off. Helps out the channel directly, supports us so we can grow and do bigger and better things. Also on this episode, we have our special guest back, Cameo. Cameo, thank you so much for being back on the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me back on the podcast.
Hey, it's my honor. It's a pleasure. I love doing these podcasts. It's just something that has been really fun as of late. So I'm glad you're back. And we have a lot to talk about, man. So the first thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is the Kokomi drama that's surrounding this character. We have a lot to talk about there. I know you had the chance to test her out. I tested her out a little bit as well. So we're going to really just kind of delve into that topic a little bit because that's, I think, been the main topic as of late. But what I also wanted to talk about today with you on this episode is the Inazuma characters in general and what has been going on with these characters as of late, all the controversy behind them, because it's kind of unprecedented for what we've seen so far up until this point in Genshin Impact. So we're going to talk about that in relations to, you know, Leeway characters, Mondstadt characters. So it should be good. I'm super excited. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So first and foremost, Kokomi, let's get your initial thoughts on this character first. What do you think about this character just in general for your initial thoughts?
Before I started testing her or afterwards?
Let's go with before you started testing her and then afterwards. Let's get the full scope of everything.
So based off of what I've seen on Honey Impact, just off of the stats and stuff like that, I expected her to be, you know, a healer that was better than some of the healers we have, like Barbara and stuff like that. I don't think she really lived up to the hype though.
Okay. And that's what I've been seeing from people, comments, and everything that's been going on. And I understand where people are coming from. I definitely do. So this character obviously was advertised to be this great healer. And I think this is coming off the cusp of the Abyss, right? Because we got the Abyss and the mechanic associated with it before Kokomi dropped. And I think because of that reason, everybody touted Kokomi to be this extremely good healer, which I did too, and I was under that same impressions. And I think she is, if I'm just throwing my 2 cents in there, I think she's a good healer, but I think she's missing some things that I'll get into here in just a second. And I mentioned this in my last video as well, that I think would make her leagues above other healers, because I think this character should have been undoubtedly, without an argument, the best healer in the game, and it shouldn't have even been close. But you keep going. Let me know what your overall thoughts are still. What's your overall opinion still?
All right, so after testing, you know what, let me make one thing clear first. I played mostly waifu over meta, right?
Right.
I'm not influenced by other content creators or what the community says. I play the game to have fun, right? People hate Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is actually one of my favorite characters in the game.
Okay.
She was my first 5-star, and through every iteration of a team I've made, the one thing that stayed consistent is Chi-Chi.
So let me ask you. So when you lose those 50-50s to Chi-Chi, you're actually pretty ecstatic. You're one of those people.
I love it. I want a C6 Chi-Chi.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. All right, keep going.
So I wanted to bring that up because I don't want anyone to think that I'm just hating on Kokomi for no reason. I'm just joining the bandwagon and, you know, just hating on her because everyone else is hating on her.
Right. Well, and can I quickly mention that that's what this game should be all about anyways? Like the fact that it's so... and let me preface it by stating I'm not trying to upset anybody, but that's what this podcast is about, right? We give our opinions, we're very blunt about things. This is what the podcast is here for, right? And the fact that Genshin Impact is so heavily revolved around how good a character is, how much damage they're doing, you know, where they fit in a quote unquote meta. The fact that we're even having this conversation in this game in particular, where it's largely PvE, there's no PvP content, there's no competition anywhere in sight.
Right.
I,
And
I don't know if it's because people they want their character that they obtain to be the best character, like they want to have the best Kokomi out of all, or is it because there's like all the supremacy, right? Kokomi supremacy, Eula supremacy, Raiden Shogun supremacy, so they want their supremacy to be the greatest supremacy? Is that I'm not sure. I'm just kind of
right.
throwing it away. But the fact that we have the meta talk and that there even is a meta talk and people get upset if a character's not quote unquote OP broken, the best, whatever the case may be, this game should be more solely based on, you know, the character design, if you like the character from their skills and what they do, and not necessarily the damage that they're doing or how good they are per se, which I think every character in this game is good to an extent. Obviously there's some better than others, but anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. You keep going, Cammy. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, you should be playing to have fun, right?
At the end of the day, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a game. Play to have fun. Enviosity has shown us what the floor looks like, right? He's cleared the Spiral Abyss with the starting characters. So
right.
Any other characters after that should be able to achieve the same thing.
Right. Agreed.
All right. So getting back to Kokomi, I tried to give her as fair of a shot as possible. I leveled her up to level 80. She's 666. She has 32k HP. She's running Thrilling Tales. I wanted to run Prototype Amber, but unfortunately I didn't have the chance to level it up. In my mind, I was thinking go for Everlasting Moonglow, so I never spent the time farming the resources for it.
Right.
And Tuesday was the day that the Prototype Amber materials was out, and I missed it, so I'll try it out at the time.
Right.
She's running 2-piece Tenacity. I couldn't get the full set, a working full set for her, but I mean, I'm testing her out as an individual, so having that fourth passive that boosts the team's damage isn't really important for seeing how she plays.
Right. Agree.
And since she doesn't really do damage, I tried out both playing with a Hydro Cup and an HP Cup.
Okay.
So I tested her out on the freeze comp first because her E does last a while, and it is really good at applying Hydro. And she does work out decently. She's not the best option. There's definitely better options. You could run Mona, Xingqiu. Those are better options, but Kokomi can get the job done.
Right.
I tried her out on a bait team. That was a lot less successful. She would vaporize before my other characters could have a chance, and her damage is just not where it needs to be.
Right.
And then the last thing I tried her out on was Spiral Abyss. Let me tell you, this was the most frustrating experience I've ever had in my life.
Well, let me ask you, because I know you said it's a frustrating experience. How was floor 11 with Kokomi?
Well, that's basically where I started, because every floor before that doesn't really need a healer.
Right.
So I started on floor 11, and I tried out with different teams. Her team was her and whatever DPS versus Chi-Chi and whatever DPS I put on that team.
Right.
At the end of every stage, everyone on her team was about to die. And at the end of Chi-Chi's side, everyone was at full health.
Right.
And it was consistent. And just trying to keep your team alive with Kokomi, it's not a fun experience. My head literally hurt the whole time.
Right. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, And this is where I find the biggest flaw with Kokomi, is that her healing is solely based on when she's attacking the enemy or the jellyfish, which is a tick heal, right? So if you don't have the jellyfish out, then you're solely relying on your normal and charge attacks off of your elemental burst, right? Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
In terms of your healing. Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm correct on that. So the issue therein lies that first and foremost, relying on that type of healing is slightly more difficult because it's not an insta heal, right? And you have to constantly be attacking the whole time in order to get the heals. Where we see that type of mechanic on other characters. Chi-Chi has it, Jean has it. Other characters have that to where if you attack, you get some healing back. And Kokomi has that as well. But the problem is, and I think this is where a lot of people are running into the issue as well, and this is where a lot of the issues are arising from, is that she doesn't warrant the damage for that to be where her soul healing is coming from. Am I getting that correct? Is that, am I understanding that right?
Yeah. And the other thing is, not just is the damage low, but the healing you get from it is low. And it doesn't last very long either. It's only 10 seconds long.
Right.
So an issue I kept having was I'd be healing up with her ults.
Right.
And it would run out before they even made it a half.
Right. Like, and I'm going to be real honest right now at this time. I've been looking at her kit a little bit more now. And so initially I was thinking the elemental burst, right? That's what you're going to want to level up. That's what you're going to want to max out. That's the most beneficial. I'm looking at it, man, and I mentioned this in my last video. I'm thinking the damn jellyfish is the way to go, man.
Yeah, it could be.
I think the jellyfish is like the most crucial part of her kit. If I'm looking at it, if I'm being honest, and if I'm thinking the way that you would maybe want to optimally play Kokomi, because now that we're starting to test her out, now that we're getting a better understanding of this character, the elemental burst is not as good as I think people thought initially, and not as good as I thought. And I'm gonna be honest, I made a mistake. I thought the elemental burst was gonna hit like a truck. I stated that in past videos, right? Did I, Cameo? I stated that in past videos.
So
I think
you
I
did.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. I take it back. I take it back.
But I think a lot of people actually thought that too. I mean, I know I thought that when
I thought it was gonna do enough damage to warrant it, right?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna do a lot of damage, and I thought it was also gonna do an initial heal, but I was wrong about that.
So I didn't think the initial heal. I knew it wasn't doing an initial heal because I was looking at the kit beforehand, and I didn't see an initial heal on there. So I wasn't expecting an initial heal, even though that's the way they should have went, if I'm being honest. But I thought the elemental burst was going to be doing more damage. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was going to be doing more damage to where it warranted her being out there for the 10 seconds. But now that we've got a better understanding, and of course this is all like subjective, right? You can deck your Kokomi out to be a damage dealer, right? We've seen the videos, 92k damage, all this good stuff, right? And you can make it work. Throw a Bennett Sucrose down, throw some potions, you're doing big PP numbers. But if we're talking about in general normal playing of the game, it's a bit underwhelming and it's a bit subpar, and I don't think it warrants her being out there for 10 seconds, and that's where you're getting your healing from. So if I'm looking at Kokomi and I'm looking at what would be the most beneficial thing for her, Cameo, this is just me. I say throw the jellyfish out there, let the jellyfish do its thing, but switch into a different character, bro. I don't even see the point of the elemental burst at this point. I mean, what do you think?
I definitely feel the same way. The only issue I have with that is that the jellyfish is kind of the problem too.
Okay, all right, elaborate. What's the problem with the jellyfish?
So an issue I was having in the Spiral Abyss was that I would throw down the jellyfish.
Right.
It would stay in one spot, but I would have to keep moving.
Yeah.
So I would move out of range of its healing.
Right. And I got some comments about this in my last video about ways we can improve Kokomi, and a lot of people were saying, well, why aren't you allowed? Because I was a big advocate of the double jellyfish. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Give me double jellyfish, I'm a happy guy. But some people were saying, why can't you just reposition the jellyfish? And I was like, you know what? Damn it, you're right. Why can't you reposition the jellyfish?
That's definitely a good solution.
Bro, because you're correct, man. You're going to be moving around, albeit the jellyfish's AoE is pretty nice, right? But you're not necessarily always going to be in that area. And I see the area very similar to like Rosaria's Elemental Burst, like that area of effect. To me, it's very similar. And
yeah.
And you're not always going to be in that area. So if you could reposition the jellyfish, that would be super beneficial and it would make her better. I'm still an advocate for the double jellyfish, but but if I'm going to compromise, yeah, reposition the be able to do that. And I think that would instantly make her better. And I think that would be a quick improvement to her.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to say is, I know people are going to bring this up. Bennett and Diona both have the same kind of healing circle.
Right.
You have to stay in it.
Yeah.
But they also bring additional stuff to the team, right? They give you a attack boost and a shield. Right. Kokomi, it's just the jellyfish. That's it.
It's
doing a little bit of damage.
Right.
A tiny bit. And giving you some heals, but you have to stay there to get those heals.
Right. You have they have to be there, and the thing about it, and I'm glad you brought that up with Bennett and Diona, because the thing about it, and this is why there's this competition, and that's why there's this argument that you just better off using a different character, and I definitely understand why, because if you look at Kokomi, the damage is subpar, it's underwhelming. So what are you left with? You're left with a character that can throw out a jellyfish, that can do some healing and apply the hydro, and that's about it. You got a character that can give you some good elemental reactions, and you got a character that can throw out an elemental skill that can heal, and that's about it.
Yeah, you really just left the liability, and that's how I felt she was the whole time running this Battle Abyss.
Right. Because why not just run a Bennett who can boost your party's attack and give you the heals? Why not run a Diona that can give you the heals but give you a shield as well? Those things are just way more beneficial.
All right.
Or why not just run a character that gives you insta heals, so you don't have to have them out and do attacks. You can allow them to insta heal you, and then you take them out. They're no longer a liability. You only take them out when you need the heals, right?
Exactly. If you rolled on the Kokomi banner and you got Jean, you won.
You won. Yo, you won. But it's kind of true, right? It is kind of true, because Jean, I love my you Cameo. You know I love my Jean, right? That's my baby girl. That's waifu. Ponytails over everything, right?
Yep.
Jean to this. How long has Jean been out? Since the beginning of the game.
Since the beginning of the game.
Jean to this day, bro, is such a viable option on any team. Literally throw her on any team, she works, right?
Yeah.
Because she does decent damage. Some can argue she could do some pretty damn good damage. She insta heals, she can swirl, she can group enemies up. Jean just does everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you get a character like this, Kokomi, which we're gonna go ahead and segue into our next topic here. You get a character like this with Kokomi, who can apply the elemental reactions, apply hydro pretty decently, give you the heals decently, but it's not an insta heal. It's just it feels like, and Cameo, what is the point of the negative crit then, man? I'm sorry, I wasn't gonna mention anything. I was gonna gloss over it. I wasn't even gonna talk about it. But with her elemental burst being subpar in terms of damage, jellyfish is all you got to rely on. Why did they negative crit her then? What was the point of that?
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense.
Why?
Even if you give her back all the crit and let her build crit damage, she's still not going to be doing a lot of damage.
What were you thinking, Cameo, when you made this character? Bro, because initially I was like, the negative crit, but you get the healing bonus. Cool. the elemental burst is still gonna hit like a truck, right? I think that's verbatim. I think I just quoted myself. But now that we're using her and the elemental burst is subpar at best, you know, instead, you know, unless you're in specific situations, bro, what was the point of the negative crit, Mihoyo? What were you thinking? Why? What was the point?
I think they tried to do something different, and it didn't work out.
They did. They try to be unique, and I listen. I like that, and we're gonna talk about it here in a second. We're gonna get into the other topic. I like that they're trying not to be cookie cutter. I mentioned this in previous videos with the Raiden Shogun. I like that aspect. I like what they're trying to do, but they failed miserably on this one. Because if you're gonna give me negative crit, then damn it, her damage better hit. It better be doing some pretty good damage, but it's not. It's subpar and it's pretty underwhelming. You can't reposition the damn jellyfish. You don't even give me 2 jellyfishes. So what was the point of negative critting me to only get 25% healing bonus? There should be more to this than that, because that's a detriment, man. It really is.
Right.
And the 25% healing bonus, it doesn't, because the healing is not that, it's not that great. It's decent. It's pretty good.
It's average.
It's average at best. It's not an insta heal. You got to leave this character out in order to get the heals if you want it to be more than just the jellyfish. But it doesn't really warrant that because she's not doing the damage to warrant it. So if you're gonna negative crit me and try and compensate it with 25% healing, there's got to be something else in here, man. There's got to be like attack boosting for the, you know, supporting the team with attack boost on top of that. I mentioned that there should have maybe been a revive mechanic on this. Something, because this character should have been far and away the best healer in the game. If that's the way you wanted to go with this character.
Whoa, hold on now. There's still Chi-Chi.
There's still
She's the best healer in the game. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you're advertising this character as a healer, all of her damage is based off of healing. You literally had an abyss that was designed for you to make sure you bring a healer, which enticed people, by the way. Let me remind you, enticed people to pull on this character because of the healing. Then why are we having this argument for Barbara, Chi-Chi, or anybody else? Why is this character not far and away the best healer in the game? And it's not even a question.
In case anyone listening right now is unaware, this is further speaking.
This is further speaking. 100% this is further speaking. Because guess what? Now I'm getting a little upset about this. Now let me state something, because I know a lot of people, especially the Kokomi wanters and havers and the mains, are all they've been hearing is trash about this character, right? I do want to preface it by stating that I think this character is good in the sense of being able to apply the hydro. I like the elemental skill. I think she has a place and you can make her work, and that goes for any character in the game.
Right.
And I like what Mihoyo was trying to do in terms of the kit, making it different, not cookie cutter, and it being a little more intricate than what we've seen in the past. But I do have to say that they have failed this character in the sense that her healing, you can argue for other characters in terms of healing. You can argue for other characters doing what she does, but better. And there are far and away better replacements, and you don't have to obtain this character.
Right. Anyways,
this is gonna lead into the next topic. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on to that?
The one thing I do want to say is I will take back what I said in the very beginning, not the beginning of the podcast, just my very beginning thoughts that she was going to be the worst thing ever. She's bad, but she's not as bad as I was making it seem like she was. I can't in good conscience recommend anyone pull for her, but she's the lowest on the tier list, but she's not like lower than that, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does. And listen, and the reason why I get upset about this, it's not that Kokomi is a bad. There's no bad characters in Genshin Impact inherently. You can make any character good. The reason why I'm upset about this is because they were trying to be the reason why I'm upset about this. All right, let me talk to you. The reason why I was upset about this is because they marketed this character as a healer, but the healer is the healing isn't where it should be, because you just have better characters that does what she does but better. And then the damage is not that great. You have all this healing bonus on all these different things. Her attack is based off of it, but it just doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And then they put the refresh on the jellyfish. I just saw this, Cameo. I can't believe I just saw this. They put her refresh of the jellyfish on her elemental burst.
Oh, I didn't even know.
So you could reposition the jellyfish. But that's if you have your elemental burst. You have to use your elemental burst first, and then the Bake Kurage's duration will be Why is that just not a natural thing you can do? Fischl can reposition her Oz, right? Am I mistaken on that? I saw a comment about that, right?
Yeah, she can.
A 4-star Cameo. Why can't Kokomi reposition the jellyfish? Why can't she reposition the why is it on the elemental burst? Why is there that stipulation?
It feels like a lot of the stuff is gearing her to be a character that stays on the field. But again, there's no reason, or there's no justification.
It doesn't yeah, there's nothing to warrant it.
Right.
And outside of healing and applying the Hydra, what else is this character doing?
Taking up space on the team.
She's a crutch.
She is the first support character.
She's a handicap, man.
She's the first healer to need a healer to support her.
We're going to move on to the next subject. Inazuma characters. Okay. There's been so much drama around these Inazuma characters. It's actually unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable. And I mentioned this in the past video as well. I think the only one to maybe have escaped. Did Ayaka skirt by the drama?
There was a little bit of drama.
There was a little bit of drama. It wasn't that bad though, right? I can't even recall what it was.
Yeah, no, people just well, a lot of people had expectations of her being like a main DPS. She can be,
right?
At least in my opinion, I run her as a main DPS,
right?
But she feels like more of an ult bot,
right? Yeah. No, okay, yeah, I remember that. But people got to test her a little bit more, right? And she's actually pretty damn good, right? Like in terms of being able to keep her out there, and she does tremendous damage, right?
Yeah, definitely. She's my main character right now. I run her
right.
on everything. Open world, she's my go-to.
All right, yeah, that's your baby girl, right?
Exactly.
All right, so I think Ayaka actually skirted by the best, and I think rightfully so, because she actually is a really good character with very minimal flaws in my opinion. But
yeah,
then we had Yoimiya come around, and oh my goodness, and I think that was the start of it. Honestly, is with Yoimiya. And let me ask you this, Cameo, and you be honest with me. Do you think that all of this drama, all of this controversy, everything that we're experiencing with these Inazuma characters are not necessarily the characters themselves per se, rather than it being more of how much hype and excitement and expectations were surrounded Inazuma as a whole?
I definitely think that community expectation was a part of the problem, because people had in their head that she was going to be a certain kind of way, and then, or not even just her, other characters in general would be a certain kind of way, but Mihoyo had different ideas in mind.
Right. And and the reason why I wanted to bring that up because I was thinking that that might be part of the problem, or part of the issues, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with being excited about a new area that we've heard about since the beginning of the game, that we've been really excited to go to, and now we finally get to. It's 1 year, the 1 year anniversary, right? I think that has something to play with it. But also
Right.
these characters themselves, design wise, where they're from, the lore behind them was all very exciting. Expectations were extremely high because you have the Electro Archon there as well. So now we're getting these brand new characters we've never seen before. Ayaka was the first one, but the thing about Ayaka was we knew about her since the beginning as well. But then we get a brand new character in Yoimiya, who we've never seen before. Character design through the roof. I think it's actually one of the best in the game.
Definitely.
And then I think people had a level of expectations that they were shooting for with this character, and there was a lot of drama behind it, pertaining to her ICDs and all these things associated with her. But she actually, and the thing about it is a lot of these, drama or controversies come at like the first day or two of the character being released, but then like after a week, you like it people start to realize, actually Yoimiya is kind of pogs, right? Is that
Yeah.
that's at least what I got. I mean, did you experience the same thing?
Yeah, you definitely see that a lot. You saw it a lot with even Raiden Shogun, because people were talking about her, and all of a sudden it just stopped as soon as the spell was changed, and you could see how she actually, how good she actually is.
Right.
People stopped talking about it. So we need to stop, as a community. We need to stop jumping to conclusions. Give it time. Figure out what the character actually wants from us,
Right.
so that way we can actually complain about the right things.
I agree, and the thing, so there's nothing wrong with giving your first initial thoughts on a character or your first initial impressions, but I don't think there's a difference between giving your initial thoughts and impressions on a character and then just going full board, just trashing the character before you even got the real opportunity to try her out, test her out, and see what she's capable of in all scenarios, right? In all situations, in all circumstances. If you're just straight outright trashing the character or creating some controversy or drama before you even really got to test the character out the way you wanted to test her out, and you're just going off of what other people are saying, or, just running with the initial narrative of the character and not forming your own opinions and thoughts, then I think you're doing the community a disservice, and I think the community needs to try and not do those things.
All right.
I think each character deserves the opportunity to be tested, to be tried, and give them a chance at least for a couple of days to almost a week, and then we give a final consensus. I think people are taking their initial thoughts and opinions and making that their final consensus on the character and then just running with it, right?
All right.
So, and once again, it harkens back to, I think that Inazuma as a whole, with these characters and everything surrounding it, was just, there was a level of expectations that it hasn't been experienced before, because and we talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but let's take, for example, the Liyue characters and the Mondstadt characters. And there was nowhere near the level of drama or controversy outside of a few, right? Like Zhongli is the most,
Yeah.
the most pertinent one. Outside of him, the other characters that came out, there wasn't as much controversy and as much drama surrounding them.
Right.
And I think one, that was the level of expectations, and hypeness and everything. Like Liyue was hype and everything, and Mondstadt we already knew about. But I think the level of expectation, hypeness, was not nearly as high as Inazuma. But
Right.
could it be due to the character kit design, what Mihoyo was doing? What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously these Inazuma characters are different, right, in the way they're designed kit wise.
Yeah.
because Mihoyo is trying to do something different. And we could see that with Kokomi, and we could see that with the Raiden Shogun. We could see that with Yoimiya and Ayaka. They're different compared to the rest of the cast. Do you think that has something to do with it?
Um, I, y- it, yeah, a little bit, but I mean, if you look at all the characters just as a whole, from Leeway or from Mondstadt to Inazuma, they're all a little bit different, right? The difference with like Leeway and Mondstadt characters is from the beginning. Like even if you take expectations out of it, from the beginning, characters like Eula and Hu Tao and Zhao, they were doing big numbers. They showed us how good they were from the start, right? When
Right.
you look at Inazuma characters, you have like Ball and um, Ayaka, Kokomi. You, their value is kind of hidden, right? You have to try and work out how they work, right? Ball's a battery. She's not meant to be a DPS on the field all the time. She's just there to support your team. I guess people were kind of thinking that, well, since we had like Eula and Hu Tao, Zhao, all these people doing big damage, and I being an Archon, maybe she was going to do the same kind of thing. But it seems like they wanted to create more pieces to the puzzle rather than give you a whole finished product altogether, like they did with um, Eula and the other characters in Leeway Mondstadt.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think like the characters from Liyue and Mondstadt, I think those characters were more cut and dry in, you know, where they fit in the team comps, their kit, and and how they're gonna operate. I think it was better, easily understood what type of character this is, what they're gonna be doing, and how they fit in team comps than these Inazuma characters. Let's take the Raiden Shogun for example. Tell me how many people you saw or heard or talked to that didn't fully understand what the Raiden Shogun was doing in terms of her
I
elemental skill, her elemental burst, like how confused they
Yeah,
were on what's actually happening.
yeah, I saw that a lot in the beginning. Um, I don't know what they were really expecting to find the first week, because I mean we didn't have enough to really get her up to the right level, and people like to test her in the Spiral Abyss, and it was not working in her favor that week. She was like, they had electro resistance, so you couldn't really get an accurate reading of her. But now it's seeming like a lot more people understand how she's supposed to be played.
Right, right. I agree. And what I mean by that is, for example, let's take Venti, the very first banner in the game. Obviously the Animal Archon. Uh, Still a fantastic character to this day. Absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look at his kit. You know, his elemental skill and his elemental burst. There's a couple of paragraphs there, right? One or two paragraphs. Now we move over to the Raiden Shogun. We take a look at the Raiden Shogun's kit. Bro, we got damn near an essay.
Right.
We can scroll on the Raiden Shogun's elemental burst. We could literally scroll down.
And it didn't really help that Mihoyo kept changing certain things, the wording.
Right. Exactly. So what I'm getting at is that, and even if we take a look at, let's say, Zhongli, right? Zhongli came out next, in terms of the next Archon, Geo Archon. If we take a look at his elemental skill, little scrolling, couple paragraphs. His elemental burst, cut and dry. You know what it's doing. You know what it's capable of, and you know what
Right.
type of character Zhongli is supposed to be. I mean, obviously, initially when he came out, people were confused, but it's pretty cut and dry. But then once again, then you compare it to, the Raiden Shogun, or let's compare it to, even Kokomi. These Inazuma characters, their kit in what they're stating is just, there's so much more to it that I think what Mihoyo was trying to do is once again make these characters very unique, very different, not cookie cutter. And I see what they were trying to do, but I think that's what leads to confusion, and that's what led to a lot of drama and controversy because people couldn't peg exactly what these characters were doing per se. And then there was
Right.
a lot of back and forth on how they fit in team comps, where they fit in team comps. And I think Mihoyo might be trying to do a little too much to make them a little too unique that it actually it's a detriment to the character themselves and you know how well they can be.
I kind of like that they're doing it, but they they need to take more time with it. I don't know how characters like Kokomi made it out of beta when you guys are testing it. You guys want to do something different. I get that, but make sure it works.
I just yeah, I don't know cuz like the Raiden Shogun, I think she's perfectly fine. I think this character is fantastic. I think she does what she's supposed to do and she does it well. Yoimiya the same. I think she's fine. She does what she's supposed to do and she does it well. Ayaka also, but Kokomi is just like this enigma to where what they were I'm not sure what they were going for, man. I'm not sure what they were
Right.
going for and I'm not sure what they were thinking on this one
Yeah.
and why they didn't revisit this character and really sat down and were like, listen, it's just we're getting there. It looks like they were getting there, but they just didn't finish, right?
Right.
She just doesn't seem fully finished, like 100% complete. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened. That doesn't mean she's a bad character. And also let me address something because I've seen a few comments of people stating that not every character needs to be, OP, broken, top tier, awesome. And I agree. I 100% agree with that. That not every character needs to be Ganyu. Not every character needs to be Hu Tao, Zhongli, these top tier characters, and they shouldn't. But at the same time, you have a 5-star character here in Kokomi, who, in my opinion, can be easily replaced by a 4-star, and that should never really be the case. And I know people were trying to say that about the Raiden Shogun as well, but that's not the case. I mean, you can argue it all day long, and you could tell it to me until you're blue in the face. But there is not. I don't believe there is a character in the game that can do what the Raiden Shogun does as a whole, and she be replaced by a 4-star. Don't give me official. Don't give me Beto. Don't give me any electro. I don't want to hear it. There's no character that can do what the Raiden Shogun does and is a 4-star. But with
Right.
Kokomi, there's that argument. There really is. And it's not because I'm a Raiden Shogun main. I'm being as unbiased as possible. I promise you. And it's a shame, you know. It's a shame. I mean, what do you think about that?
About Kokomi?
Yeah, about Kokomi, about the Inazuma characters in relation to like the Liyue characters. Like, do you think there should be that argument for a 4-star competing with Kokomi?
If you're gonna make a 5-star, it should definitely be better than a 4-star. So there's definitely no way, no reason why a 4-star should be in contention with a 5-star. I mean, we do have it with like Bennett and some of these other 4-stars. But if you build a character who's specifically supposed to heal and should be a really good healer, she should not be the worst healer out of every healer in the game.
Right, and the thing, I'm glad you brought up Bennett and Xingqiu and them because I know I'm going to get these comments as well. The reason why those characters are so great, and they should honestly be probably 5-stars, is because they're doing things that are different. They're not direct relations. It's not a direct correlation to Kokomi. The problem is you have a character like Barbara that is literally a direct you can literally make a direct correlation with Kokomi and Barbara. And you can have a strong argument, which it shouldn't be the case. You can have a strong argument for Barbara, and that shouldn't happen. That literally should not happen. And I don't know where things went wrong here, right?
Right.
And that leads to talking about some, future characters as well. We can get into it. We'll get into future characters as well. So what is the level of expectations we can expect for future characters like Yae Miko and others that can be coming down the road? Can we expect their kit to be super unique and not cookie cutter, but it lack in some way because they're trying to be too unique and different? Or are they going to be, OP? Do you think Mihoyo is like maybe kind of like have PTSD from like the whole Ganyu situation and, the buffing of Zhongli? Like, do you think they might have some like PTSD to not make like a character like overpowered? So they're trying to like cut back on certain things, like not letting Beto work with the Raiden Shogun, or whatever the case may be. Do you think that might be going on?
I feel like it should be the opposite. I feel like they should be afraid to make weak characters. I feel like they should be over buffing characters instead of overly nerfing them. I would think that would be what they're more afraid of because of what happened with Zhongli.
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel as of late, it's almost looking like the opposite.
Yeah, like the opposite. And let me just say one thing. And Mihoyo, I'm talking to you specifically.
There you go. Get him, Cameo.
Don't you dare mess up Yae Miko. Don't you dare give her the Kokomi treatment.
Listen.
I'm coming down there, and we're going to sort this out personally.
Listen, do you know how many... Yae Miko is like... Man, I thought the Raiden Shogun had some, backers and supporters and mains and stands. Bro, I don't even think it's on the level of Yae Miko and the mains that are out there, the supremacy that's going to be happening if it's not already, the amount of fan art Cameo put in the Discord, the culture this man has shown. Listen, if you mess this character up, the thing is just don't try and do too much and be too unique that you take away from the character. And don't be afraid to do some OP-ness. Like, every character should have some type of OP-ness in their kit, especially if they're a 5-star.
Right.
Give me the double jellyfish, man. That wouldn't have been too much. Right? But anyways, guys, I think that's the podcast for today. I think that's everything that we wanted to talk about. Once again, I appreciate you, Cameo, being here on the episode today. I had a really fun time talking about this. And once again, this podcast is all for your guys' enjoyment, to just hang out, sit down, kind of hear some opinions, give your own opinions in the comments down below, and we just talk about the game. And we talk about it as if we were just sitting down on the couch, shooting the shit, hanging out together, and just expressing our thoughts and opinions on the game. That's what this podcast is all about. So I do hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys like what you saw. We'll have episode 5 out here relatively soon. And I don't know, Cameo. Yeah, you might be a regular on the podcast, man. You might be a part of the crew. What do you think?
That sounds pretty good.
That sounds great.
Have a lot of fun shooting them.
It's fun. It's fun just talking about it, right? Just and not being too formal. Not
Exactly.
You really just give your thoughts, your opinions on the matter.
Right.
Anyways, guys, remember, podcast sponsored by GG Subs. Pick yourself up some before they are gone. Still have time to pre-order. Cameo, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. And any last words, Cameo, before we get on out of here?
I mean, all I can say is remember to stand up, be different, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, it's your boy Cameo. Any boy further beyond gaming, or out.
Hey, we're leaving on that note. Thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.